Hello, traders. Welcome to the support webinar. This is Andy today, filling in for Chris. So if somebody just drop into the YouTube chat that they can see my screen and they can hear me, that would be great. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Make sure everything is working properly. Yeah, looks like it is on my end. All right, thank you, Trader 77. Thank you. All right, welcome to the support webinar. My name is Andy. Hello, NetTrade. How are you? True Seeker. All right. Got the whole group in here today, man. If only Mike C will pop up. All right, so let's dive in. Once again, guys, if you're in here, you have a question, drop it into the YouTube chat and I'll be happy to do my best to tackle it. Hey Brian, how are you? Hey David. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, yeah, it's good to see everybody, man. It's always nice to come in here and see a lot of familiar names. All right. So if you have a question, drop it into the chat. Meanwhile, we'll dive in. Typical market today. I was telling Steve, I said, you watch, I know a lot of people are probably going home short with all the geopolitical news over the weekend. And this is so typical of a market when uh, it rewards the risk takers and it punishes those who are trying to like play an Armageddon trade. And sure enough, we had a gap and go. So, but I'm not sure a whole lot of things. Let's see if it holds up today. I would be a bit surprised. It probably squeezed all the shorts, and then we just kind of bleed back down and maybe do a doji, a spinning top. Who knows? But it's hard to get too excited and start loading up on everything. Honestly, I didn't do a whole lot today, only because I'm short. We're shorthanded. We're missing both Chris and Steve this morning. They got me. So I been doing a lot of support this morning and really hadn't had a whole lot to a chance to look at stuff and look for opportunity. So uh, I was in some Amazon, added a little bit more of that, and then I kind of got aggressive with Tesla, thinking it was going to go, but I have a stop in there if it takes out. I think yeah, this level right here. If I think 327 or something like that. Not for all of it, just for the amount that I got aggressive off that bounce right there and that hammer. I thought, oh boy, this thing's going to go to highs. So anyway, and then Donkey Kong, yeah, this one I think has been lagging for a while. I've been jumping. I traded it the other day right here and got out for a nice trade, but I think I got stopped out on that day. But gonna give it another shot. I think if it can get back through that 200, it could be off to the races. And ARC is, it's just been on a tear lately. It's been the strongest of the sectors that I follow, so it's been doing well. And Donkey Kong is definitely an ARC stock. But I'd really love Tesla to go through that 334 level today. That would be nice. That would be the 20 period moving average, basically taking out Friday's high. But I missed all the nano nukes, the quants this morning. I was just too busy. I did hold a little bit of that UAVS overnight, but I sold it pretty much right around here. I think 49. But I think on that failed move right there, I punched out. Looking to see if it can pull back, get yanked down, pick it up again. Let's see. UMAC is still holding up very well. RCAT, it's not It's kind of not following UMAC for sure. It's broken its 10. I do like Amazon. As a matter of fact, I added some this morning, and I wish I would have added more, but I got busy. I'm really liking this potential, kind of cup and handle there pattern, and really, we're talking this thing has a ways to go if it's going to approach all-time highs. So, boy, if it can take, if it takes out I think you have to be in it, if this thing takes out that level, that 3-day high there. I do have a bid. Oh, let me make sure I didn't already get hit. I don't think I did. No, 214.20. I have a bid. It gets yanked down to. Had I put that in earlier, I'm probably not going to see that. I may have to raise that up. Okay, Trader 77. Are you in that PLTR, man? That thing, you can't stop it. It's actually kind of setting up to even go higher. I noticed BBAI had a nice little move today, and it's actually not giving it up yet, which it's been doing over the last week plus. This QBTS has kind of been a lot of selling going on in the last week. I'm hoping that it'll want to fill the gap at some point. It'll be a nice little pickup if it does ever fill that gap, and you got that 50 creeping up underneath. Could be a good entry there in that one, but really no man's land right now. It's tough to trade. Same goes with this one, which if it does get back above that level, may be worth it. But well, we had a marketing meeting on Net Trade on Thursday, and uh, we're still obviously don't hold me to this because a lot of things can change. This is a huge endeavor, and when you're talking about what we're trying to accomplish here, uh, there might be some delays. We are hoping for a July launch, okay, and that if I had to guess, it would probably be the latter part of July, but you know things are tracking right now in that direction, but like I said, it could change. Now, the initial launch probably will be like a test drive and let people come in and paper trade it. Okay, we're not going to just open it up and say, "Here, put your money to work." It's not going to be that way. So we'll probably do a, you know, test drive, let people check it out, paper trade it, and then maybe couple of weeks, 3 weeks later, because we're going to be working probably on a beta. Okay, we're probably getting, and I'm just going to let you guys know right now. You got to accept it for what it's worth. It will be a test drive. We will be paper trading, but there's probably going to be some bugs because it is going to be a beta. Okay, I mean, but you'll still get a good feel for the product. You'll still get a good feel of how it's going to work and what's going to happen. But we want to get it in some people's hands, including myself. I'm beginning to worry that they're not even gonna have a dev version for me to play around with before it goes into beta, uh, but just, yeah, keep that in the back of your mind. And trust me, we'll have plenty of advertisements and letting people know, hey, this is going to be a beta, and you'll get a good feel of how the money machine is going to work. But just be prepared. There's probably going to be a few bugs. Yes, Raja, I do swing trading. What time frame will be best for day trading? Great question. Back I day traded for like 15 years, and I was a scalper. Uh, I would jump in a stock, take 25, 30 cents, jump out, and then look for the next one. And then I did that probably for about 10 of the years. And then I noticed high frequency trading come in around 2007, 2008. I'm like, uh-oh, something ain't right. Something is really weird going on. And sure enough, a month later, we started hearing about high frequency trading. So when that came about, I said, okay, I'm not going to be in this, 1 minute, 5 minute time frame, because that's where you're going to get worked. Okay. And that's where you're going to churn and lose a lot of money. So what I did, probably the last 5 years of my day trading career, I pulled back on my trade size and looked for longer moves. So you know let's say at one point I may be grabbing 2,000 shares of something and trying to get 25 or 30 cents of it. Then I've started maybe going to 1,000 shares, giving myself more wiggle room on a stop. Instead of having a 10, 15-cent stop, I moved it to a 25 to 30-cent stop. And then, but when you do that, obviously, you got to look for a bigger trade. So I was looking for 50 cents, 75 cents, a dollar, so I was looking for bigger moves. High frequency trading calls me to do that. And for those coming into day trading, you know, I can tell you this because I worked with a lot of really good traders. The best day traders are not scalpers. Okay. They're looking to, for 3 to 4, 5 hour moves in a trade. So my advice would be, is to obviously learn to read charts and look for those moves, of 50 cents to a dollar plus, you're looking for, because those are the day traders that make money, eh, big money, in my opinion. I made a good living scalping, when back when there were more inefficiencies in the market. You're welcome, net trade. All right, Tesla. Let's see if you can poke your head up here. Donkey Kong dug in there. Amazon's looking better. I try to tell myself not to add, near highs in this market, because midday you typically get an opportunity to get a better price. So of course I did not adhere that when it came to. It wasn't really near highs when I added to it. But this is definitely an anticipatory trade. I mean, and definitely anticipating on this, okay? Because I do this a lot where if I think something potentially may go through, I'll buy a little with intentions to add once it like goes through highs. The problem is, it's risky to do that, because if it doesn't go through, obviously it's probably going to sell off at some point. And is that UMAX still going? Where is she? Yeah, sure is. Good lord. RCAT could be a play right here. Uh, a a little bit during decimalization. A good question, David. It was much more efficient for day traders when we had the teenies, the 1/6 of a trade, because you get a 2 point move, and that's like 25 cents. So it was much better before decimalization, but once decimalization came about, I tweaked it just a little bit. I probably picked up my size some because if you're playing liquid stocks, you can get out a whole lot easier because of the penny moves. So I think if anything, I probably just picked up my size a little bit, and instead of going maybe for back under the old system, I might go for 25 to 30 cents. Sometimes I would in decimalization, I just buy big size and go for 10 or 15 cents, get those moves a little quicker. But it did hurt. It was I don't want to say nothing ever easy about trading, but uh it was better, before decimalization for sure. But even then, the high frequency trading was the real killer because now, we were always the fast ones back when So's bandits, and we were a lot faster, than Wall Street. But boy, when high frequency trading came around, I was like, oh boy, that party's over. You gotta start looking for bigger moves. And then after about 15 years, I got older, and it's like, I'm moving over to swing trading because your daily setups, still work. Like if I'm looking at this RCAT right here, if I'm, back in the day, I might, grab a chunk right here at 906 and look for, a move at highs. But I mean, as a swing trader, you might jump in far less size at 906, give yourself, obviously a more liberal stop, and just play it off a day trade, because if I'm sorry, of swing trade, because it does take out this triple high right here, it could go. I'm just using this as an example. I probably wouldn't do something with, you know, a drone company that doesn't even look like they have revenues, but I'm just using it as an example of how the mindset. I still look for the same type of setups as I did when I day traded. It's just I'm looking more now to hold on for a few days, kind of like this Tesla. This Tesla could be a great day trade right here. If it pops through this range and goes through highs. But for me, now I'm looking for a much longer move. But you can see the setup is still the same. I think if people would look, almost try to ignore the day trade, swing trade, and stuff like that, and just look at everything as a position trade. Okay, you're going to position yourself. Let's say in this Tesla right now, you're thinking, okay, this is setting up. It's holding this 10 period moving average. There's a chance this thing's going to rip through highs. I'm going to position. I'm going to take a position right here at 330. Okay, I'm going to give it lows of the day. If it takes out lows of the day, it's probably, rolling back over and going down to the 10. Okay, so I'm positioning myself for a 4 cent down move, but my upside is unlimited. So if you look at it like that, you're taking a position that's favorable for you as far as a reward to risk ratio. So and then let the market dictate, let the price action in the market dictate your out. So if you think of it like that, you're more likely to stay in a trade longer for a day trade instead of just like, I'm going to get this, and if it goes to highs, it's going to go up here. I'm going to take $2 out of this thing. uh, it's a lot more stressful that way. Raja, it's tough. A lot of people ask us that all the time. Hey, would you make this broker part of your system? It's a two way street. Okay, even if we wanted to do something like that, we would obviously have to get approval from Mumu. Okay, and then you're talking about once you get approval, and then you're talking about uh, integration, which it takes time, to work with that API. I mean, it can take a couple of months just to hook up to their API. It's not as easy as it sounds. Uh, Now I know, some brokers are easier than others, but I mean, our next one we're doing is we just did a deal with TradeStation. We're going to be adding TradeStation. Now, TradeStation is zero commissions as well. So if you're looking for one with zero commission, you probably will launch in like August or September. We're going to have TradeStation. Do you mean to say something there, David? Just got a couple of dots. Okay, no problem. All right, looks like Tesla may try to go to highs. Amazon is notorious for like midday drive down, so I'm actually hoping I get one. All right, so the high there in Tesla is 332.05, only 50 cents away. Uh, Going to yesterday's high, 332.99, and you do have I got all these move that. The 20 period moving average is 333.08. So it's actually come down a little bit from my trigger point this morning in the eye. Let's take a look at the spies and the Qs and see how close we are. Still got a ways to go in the spies. Let's see, still got about 11 points to go in the spies. And the Qs are a lot closer. Only about 5 points there in the Qs. And I'm sure it'll frustrate me and fall right back down into that range. And actually, we're not even above the 5-day high there. And right as I get Tesla trying to go to highs, this market wants to kind of roll over here. Now, if this UAVS pulls back down, I will re-enter that around the 140, especially if the other one's UMAC. Wow, good move there and SOG P. Yeah, David, they are launching it on the 20th. They did put was supposed to launch on the 12th of this month, but they did push it back to the 20th in Austin. So, gotta think that's going to probably be huge. Yeah, they are behind. I don't even know if I call them competition because I think Tesla's probably going to obviously mop up the space eventually. But there are definitely some other companies been doing it for a while. But Tesla probably has a few more guardrails they're having to put in. Vert was the trade of the week, and holding up nicely. Let's see if we can hold that 10 period moving average. And Amazon probably getting ready for a drive down, which is fine. I'll just leave that bid out there at 214.20. See if it can get me. Well, Tesla, you're not going to get this close to highs and not go touch it, are you? Austin, yes, David. I'm in Frisco, Texas, just north of Dallas, about 30 minutes north of Dallas, and Austin is probably uh 3 hours from Dallas, so it's probably about 3.5 hours from me. So I would be north. I'm way up in North Texas, probably only, you know, 45-minute drive from the Oklahoma border. But man, it's growing out. It's so big out here. It's like I looked before I moved to California. I looked out here to buy, and it was nothing but farmland, maybe 20,000 people. Now it's probably 400,000. It's crazy. Yeah, yeah, you're right. By standards, yeah, by Texas standards, that's pretty close. These things, you have these moves, you almost just have to buy them in pre-market so because they move so fast. I mean, yeah, that's tough. Yes, that's right. Waymo, whatever Waymo, is that how you pronounce it? Yeah, that's in they're doing it in California. And I know there's somebody else already in Austin. It may be Waymo as well. But I know there's somebody in Austin already. I'm interested, I didn't even look at that today. I'm interested in how it's going to work for Uber because this thing is actually putting together a nice little wedge. Uh you got to think at some point Uber is going to do away with drivers, right? And just go all robo Uber, which basically they'll just be like a taxi service. So I guess they'll be in competition with uh, Tesla. But they would definitely have the structure already in place. So they everything probably would just work the same. You'd just be doing away with drivers and making everything automation. Whereas I don't know if Tesla's contracting that out or that's something they're going to like manage on their own. I don't know. And of course, you got the robotic part of Tesla as well. It's a nice looking chart. Our cat's hanging in there. All right, there's a pullback invert. Ah, just oh wow, Raja, Fort Worth. Yeah, that's definitely a cow town. Yeah, that's yeah, it's a fun place, man. There's some fun things to do around there. Yeah, here's that Amazon bleeding through its and the queues are kind of dipping as well. Yeah, I don't know if they had the stockyards. I'm sure yeah, I'm sure they did. 20 yeah, it's been around forever. The stockyards is kind of a fun place to go down there. Yeah, of course, the move today was in the first 45 minutes of the day, and that's when I was pretty busy. So, yeah, this may want to go up here to the 60 levels. It's kind of hoping I'd get a pullback. Well, you got the 2-day high there, and then just real close to each other there. This has the potential to be pretty explosive, I think, if it gets through. Now, this is a case where I may add at highs just because if it does a bar reversal there, take out that 73.83. I'm sorry, 37.83. Boy, AMD was on the list today. What a nice move that had. Some volume too. Look at that. The relative volume 3.8, 3.08, breaking through the it's just dang Intel, man. That thing. And I'm not gonna touch that till it gets back above his 200 though. It's SoFi, nice day. But it's hard to do anything. The cues keep leading. It's basically on a like a 2-hour low right now. Bitcoin going to highs. Yeah, I can give it to you, Tasnim, but here's the problem. I'm gonna have a lot of windows that have a customized symbol list. Okay, so this is going to be AI stocks. This is going to be like nano nukes and quants, and I got some other ones over here. So I got about 5 windows that require a uh, symbol list. Now, if you like, I mean, here's the problem. I cannot drop them into the chat because they'll be all jumbled together. It doesn't like line up the symbols underneath each other like it would in a regular doc. So it'll just jumble all of them together. So I mean, I can share my link with you if you want to like You can probably look a lot of these things up on Google them and find these symbols, or you can just email me and I could share, the ones you want. You might not want them all. Like I follow China stocks. There's my China one. I got one for all the ARK stocks. You're probably better off like on this ARK. It's probably outdated. You're probably better off just going online and looking at the top holdings for ARKK and put them in there. Uh, and then I just have one for what I call the big boys. It's going to have the Amazons, Teslas, and Microsofts, all the big text companies. So I will drop my uh, link to it in the chat. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not going to be able to. I forgot to sign in as a. I'm sorry. I normally don't do this. Just email me. Email me at info at trade-ideas.com, and I will and just you don't need to put you can just put attention Andy in the subject line, and it's just drop in there and tell me what you're looking for as far as my symbol list. Like I said, you might not want them all. Maybe I can share it with you, and you can take a look at it and see which ones you want to keep. Because I have a lot of windows on my other screen over here, so you might not want them all. And the cues are bleeding more. But it didn't stop Donkey Kong from going to highs. Yeah. Yeah, True Seeker. I have two 28-inch monitors, and I just grab them and pull them over like this from the other monitor. You're welcome, Tasna. Yeah, I'll get you that. Yeah, I'm not one that wants a big giant, 40-inch, I like having two 28-inch are perfect size for me. I have room for everything that I want, plus my Slack and my YouTube chats over there on the other monitor, so I can I pretty much had the same setup 26 years. Not same setup, the same two monitor system. A lot of people have four, three. I got. I don't need to overdo it. Get your eyes all over the place and hard to focus. All right, we got about 15 more minutes. I mean, you got to keep in the back of your mind we've had a really kind of hard time going anywhere. Uh, if you go back to the beginning of the year, we're just up slightly, on the year. So the last boy month and a half has just been kind of creeping higher ever so slightly with some nasty downdrafts at times. Hey Vito, how you doing? Uh, yeah, I just talked about AMD really strong. I haven't looked at Cisco today. Just kind of one I don't trade anymore. It's Used to trade it all the time back in the day. Yeah, not giving up hope on Tesla, but I always get nervous midday because I know these things start acting up. That QBTS, that's guarantee a lot of people chase that. This is why you always careful when a stock's in no man's land. Ran right up to its moving averages there. Now, if it ever gets back above there, could be off to the races. But boy, it's been a tough one to trade lately. Definitely been some selling going on in that. IONQ the same way. And I think they'll have their day again at some point. Spaghetti. I may get that feel yet, and it, yeah, Nvidia. I traded it back. I think over here. Anyway, I haven't traded that in a while. Just like a lot of stocks, it's been really really tough. And Apple's been a mess. Is not Google's been a mess. Yeah, Vito. I was telling them earlier. It's like yeah, the first. I'm the only trader here, and so I was really busy this morning. Chris and Steve are both off, and really the first five, maybe first hour of the day, we had our move, and it's been actually slowly bleeding off since then. It's not a market, to chase highs in. That's for sure. The A table, the A table is Steve's. See, I have an issue with the exit when the stock is still listed. Not sure what you mean, Tasman. The A table is, I think that's Steve's scan you're talking about. I'm not sure what you mean by I have an issue with the exit when the stock is still listed. Yes, yeah, that's Steve's scan. I think I actually have a copy of it. Hold on, I think I may have it. The A table, but it's probably going to be different than Steve's. I think that's his short list. Uh, I think what it is it's his short squeeze list that 13 cent stock right there. Uh, See, I'd put a filter on that to keep out these penny stocks. Okay, does he have it sorted by short flow? Let's see, change from the open. Let me take a look and see. Relative volume. No, let's see. Score. Yeah, you seemed like it'd be short of, yes, by score. I just not sure why I had it relative volume in the back. Let me change that. I haven't pulled this up in probably 5 years, so yeah, his is probably a little different than me. Thank you, David and Peppy. That one looks pretty good. Well, I didn't get my ad on that pullback there. Qs are getting a bounce. Yeah, yeah, PLTR, you can't, looks like it may be ready for another move. See if there's anything interesting on these things. So far, that ACDC is probably the best looking there. I wish I'd seen it earlier. Maybe I'll have to keep this. There's a decent pullback there in hymns, if you're so inclined. SMAR pulled back to its prior breakout, but these have all been tough. If you don't catch that initial move, man, they just get really sloppy. And not in NNE was on my list today, but just right out of the gates. Onyx, not sure. Are you calling out a stock there? Because I'm not sure that's a symbol. You're talking about the pink sheet there. Oh yes, that one's been a. It's a drone company, isn't it? Oh, that's kind of selling off. I tell you what, if it's that 10 period moving average, could be a. Could be a nibble. I think the UAVS is not getting my pullback, but I think this is one to watch as far as the drone space. It's actually got some revenues. I don't know if that's a one-time thing or what, but I scalped it out over these last 2 days, but I'm hoping to get another HUSA. Husa. Yeah, that's a nasty one. Yeah, I typically don't make trades like that. It had some nice volume on Friday, but boy, yeah, that's a crap shot in my book. Yeah, it's yeah, I told myself, yeah, that one's actually holding up today. The last few days, every time it's kind of run up these highs, it's fallen back. Today, it's actually holding up. I'm surprised AI, it's not playing ball. It's got its gap fill, but yeah, it's just under pressure. Yeah, it's definitely could be a squeeze there for sure. Yeah, I think this Tesla had some news on Friday and had a nice little push. I'm kind of hoping for some more news on that one. All right, guys. I got to get going because, like I said, I'm the only trader here, and I hear chats going off over there. But I'm not going to be doing a whole lot today. I'm actually going to be watching this Tesla because I do think, above that 3-day high there could be explosive, and taking out that 20 period is. Oh, you got a lot of technicals there that could really cause this to really push. I'm going to be kind of watching that, see if I can see if I can make my day on one stock here. Coming up. But uh, yeah, other than that, it could be very sloppy. We've had our move, and it's going to just sit here and digest. Could slowly bleed off, but we'll see what happens. Or we could just push to all-time highs. Who knows? But I got to get going. And thank you guys for all the great questions. And I will. Let's see. No, Chris will be back tomorrow, so he'll probably be in here. But I'll definitely be back on Friday. So have a good one, man. And I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.